Yes, it's pointed the wrong way. Okay. One second. See, we need to get you there. Over there. That's pretty good. Nope, see, no, the point is you stay on the pillow. The point is she stays on the pillow. She's not staying on the pillow. She keeps coming back here. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it incorrectly. You gotta go get on the pillow. Now you can see the mess. See, if she goes over there and sits down, she'll cover the mess. Long enough for you to get a cup of coffee? Sure. You know we're recording, so. Hi Puppy Heimer. Hi Sybil Rose. Good to see you again. Crystal Briar's here. Hello. Leah's here. Hello. Oh, thank you, Crystal Briar. I'm very happy with it. It's a little long now, but I'm getting it touched up next week, just in time for Worldcon. See, the dog doesn't understand that being super close to me doesn't make the treat come any faster. In fact, she's supposed to go over there and sit on the pillow. If she did that, the treats would come. But nope. Nope. Just this hopeful doggy face. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to try not to be a downer today, but I'll talk about it in the episode. It's just, I've been having... Well, at least it's carpeted. Sorry, the dog just dragged my phone off the desk. There. See? You stay over there, you get snacks. You can see she's wondering. She's thinking. Okay. Anyway, I've just been trying to uncover some of the emotional resistances I've been having lately. So I'm going to talk about that. Yes, I believe she jumped because she was startled by the getting tangled in the phone cord. Right. And now you're back over here. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Funny thing is, it's not funny at all. It sucked. I said I was going to do an anniversary stream because this past weekend was I Should Be Writing 20th year. 21st. And, well, this one got sick again. And, she's new to us. We're learning her issues. Not quite nearly as bad as Rosa's, who had constant skin infections, toenails that broke, 3 knee surgeries, etc. This one just seems to get a sick stomach and stop drinking water and do other things that I don't want to talk about on stream. And it happened on my birthday, so I spent a good part of my birthday worried about the dog and then at the vet with the dog. And then it was I Should Be Writing's birthday, and I spent a good amount of the day either worried about or at the vet with the dog. So we're trying to keep track of everything we give her and see if we can avoid this. But if it happens again, we'll hopefully know the trigger. I don't know. I bring this up. There is a point connected to what we've been doing around here, which is the fact that we've been in training classes, and a lot of the encourage your dog to do something such as get on the mat and lie down is to constantly throw treats at them. And we were doing a lot of... Oh, she's gone now. Okay. We were doing a lot of that, and we were doing our treats, and then she liked the trainer's treats better than ours, and so we got the trainer's treats, and just... We don't know if it was quantity or different kinds of quality or what. So I just have kibble to throw onto the pillow for her to sniff at and eat. I don't know. We are a couple of days. We are a week and a half away from Worldcon. No, we're a week and a half away from travel beginning. Yes. I'm going to come back. My family's going there on Sunday, so we can do some stuff Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And there she is. And still just wandering right by me. Or right up to me. Here. What? I'm going to try to get a podcast recorded to play, maybe even live, not live, but it would go live and it would play and you would see it on Twitch, but, you wouldn't get to interact with me. Or maybe I'll just record an audio thing. I don't know. But I will be doing a live Ditch Diggers and a live Escape Pod at Worldcon. So if you're going to be there, I hope you show up, because that should be fun. It was weird that Worldcon gave us a topic for the Ditch Diggers. I don't know. I guess it was kind of a good idea. But now I'm like panicked going, wait a minute. Did they just have AI do that? I can't trust anybody anymore. It's bad. Anyway, our topic supposedly is going to be Taskmaster? That's a British TV show. What is a Toastmaster anyway? Is the title they gave us. I'll see if she just stayed over there. Get on the pillow, settle down. So anyway, that's supposed to be our topic. I don't know if we can fill an hour with that. Most likely we'll just get off on tangents. Oh, I need to turn the music off before I record. How is the music? Is it a good level? Are you enjoying it? It's like for the past many episodes, I've forgotten to actually, zhuzh up the stream a little bit, make a pleasant waiting experience, time and all that. Hello, kids are asleep. Good to see you. All of my automated shoutouts are dead, I guess. Okay. Did I get it? I got it! Yay! I'm always afraid of spelling somebody's name wrong. Good. I'm glad. I'm going to turn it off for the podcast anyway, because I think that would be distracting. You couldn't hear the music. Oh, okay. Maybe it didn't... Was it playing on the wait screen, those of you who got here early? Hi, I know. Just coming over here and sitting doesn't get that for you. You gotta go over on your mat. You don't understand English. Why am I talking? Because she likes the sound of my voice. I mentioned on the Discord that when my husband asked last night, he's traveling, when he asked me how the puppy was, I started listing out all the bad things she had done that day. And I didn't actually have one of those days of, the dog is hell, I hate her, please come help me. It was more just like, well, she got into this, and she got into this, and she stole that, and she stole that. Then she grabbed a piece of paper and tore it up, and I'm just realizing, wow, one little thing every couple of hours was fine, but listing it all out sounds really bad. But we're doing fine. I think she misses my husband. Thank you, the kids are asleep. Yes, I'm turning it off when the podcast officially starts. Okay, thank you, Sybil Rose. Okay, awesome. All right, I have to stop scritching you now. I have to pay attention. I don't know why I can't podcast and scritch at the same time, but I've already got a lot of self-doubt, so let's just not throw a little black and white dog in there, okay? Anyway, we'll get started. This is I Should Be Writing, Season 22, Episode 18. Happy birthday! That sounded weird. I may keep that. May take it out. I don't know. Hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for wannabe fiction writers, aspiring fiction writers, folks who may want to do it in the future, folks who may want to do it now, who want to stop thinking about it and actually do it. The podcast just this past weekend celebrated 21 years. If this podcast were a person, it could drink, but it's not, so it can't. My name is Mer Lafferty. I've been podcasting since 2004, writing professionally since 2013, I guess. And I write science fiction fantasy. I edit short science fiction, and I podcast about writing. That's me. I have been writing notes about a novel. I don't want to say it's an outline, but I'm reading page 1 to Done by Jessica Brody. And if you follow me on social media, you may have heard me complaining about this book, but only because it does the one thing I hate, which is, well, I know I hate a lot of things, let's be serious. Specifically, when it comes to habits or advice, she does one thing I hate, which is say, think about like brushing your teeth or a shower or something. You don't have to think about that. You just do it. When was the last time you had to convince yourself to brush your teeth? And I'm like, this morning. I don't think neurotypical people understand. I mean, there's a lot they don't understand about ADHD, but it's like every time I get up, I think, do I have to brush my teeth? Yes. Yes, I do. Before bed, do I have to brush my teeth and put in my retainers? Yes. Yes. But yes, the question's there. The habit is not just magical. So, like, that part of the book where she's just like, habits are easy. Just do it next to another habit that you have, even if you're someone whose brain is not really good at producing habits. But she does talk about how she thinks up books from the very beginning. And they are not how I do it. I am a chaos demon. I want to, it's a really big dog close up now. Good girl. Good girl. I'm sorry, that's just amusing to me. Yeah. Oh, someone who's neurotypical has to remember to brush their teeth. Okay. Yeah. Dog distracted me, damn it. So one thing Jessica talks about that I do want to follow is her plotting. And there's nothing revolutionary about this book yet. But as I'll talk about later, a lot of things you need to remind yourself over and over and over again, which is why I'm still podcasting, really. That, and I'm assuming most of the people listening to this have not gone back 21 years into the archives. I know some of you have, and some of you were there. But there is some repetition. It happens. But, her concept is get a character and, give them a situation or a personality or a problem, or preferably all of those things. And then you need to show us the world. And even if it's, our mundane everyday world, if you're not writing genre, it's still, the setting is important and what the setting gives to the story. And then there was the overall premise of the story and themes. And, of course, I left my notes in the other room. But I found that interesting. It's not trying to outline every single thing that happens, but I started working on the characters before I wrote, which is often what I just let it happen. That's right. I was saying I was a chaos demon because I just get an idea and I just trudge into it. No maps, no machete, just into the jungle. And, but right now I don't know which book to write. I have several pots bubbling. And so I figured if I sat down and did her method, I would get a better sense of what is actually fleshed out and ready to be written. I really want to have my editor or my agent to have a good amount, like 20,000 words or so of something at Worldcon, and it's 2 weeks to Worldcon, so that sounds kind of impossible. But according to Jessica Brody in this book, it's easier if you use her method. So I'm trying her method. I will report back. We have gone from here are the nuts and bolts in building or plotting out a novel. Now let's talk about habits, which is when I started to glaze over because brushing teeth. But I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this. I don't see why not. I don't know. I'm in a group where I guess it's not bad to talk about the fact that I'm in the group, but of course the stuff we talk about is under NDA or something. Anyway, I am in the Patreon Ambassador Program. And we have monthly meetings where Patreon shows us what they're working on, what they're unveiling. They give us polls to see how we're feeling about some things. We test out new features, things like that. And almost always there's somebody who's actually someone who's achieved a lot on Patreon. And they get to present to us their methods. And a lot of people have brought really interesting ideas to the table. And I've written them all down in numerous notebooks. And as I was writing today's down, I was thinking, what is wrong with me? I know almost all these things. We've heard them before. You know, we've heard, it's like the big takeaway from Jessica Brody's book is let yourself write crappy first drafts. That's not revolutionary. We've been saying that since Anne Lamott, or maybe before. I don't know. Bird by Bird was the first time I saw that, or I heard that. But not a revolutionary thought. Let yourself stop judging. Just write the first draft. Don't worry about it. So I was writing down all these things that I had heard or written down or advised myself, and I'm looking at it going, why? What resistance is between me and actually doing this? And it's all self-doubt. It's hardcore self-doubt. You know that the evil brain weasels have got you when you don't even realize they're there. You're not thinking, this is something I need to fight against, because it's not something that you think about consciously. And I have the chutzpah or moxie or self-confidence to create stuff. Like, I can do this podcast. I can write a book. And I feel good about that. But when it comes to working to promote, working hard to create new or different stuff for my Patreon supporters, there's a huge resistance there. And I believe it's just the fact that I'll make it, but I just hope people will find it, instead of I have to actively work to get more people to pay attention to my projects. And that was kind of a big epiphany for me, because I didn't even realize it was there. And you could say ADHD people don't like things like structure. We kind of beat our heads against it. It's while actual structure is good, sometimes we can look at structure, especially if it's created by ourselves, and go, nah. Nothing tangible, nothing, I think this project will fail. None of that happens. But the resistance is there, and because writing down the advice from these other Patreon creators, it's like it's all easy to do. So why don't I? And I don't know. We've talked before about how emotions are often liars. And I'm not saying what you feel for your significant other or your children is a lie. And I'm not saying that if someone's made you angry, that feeling is not validated. I'm saying when you wake up in the morning and you think you're the worst writer in the world, or you look at this great list of ways to get more people paying attention to you and what you create, and you go, Nah. And so once first you have the epiphany, then you have to figure out what to do about it. And I don't know if try to make myself stick to a strict schedule. Like, this is the time of day that we do the promotion. We do with the Instagram, we do the quips. We plan out the podcast so we can then tell people I'm going to be doing a podcast on this topic. I did not do that today for another reason, though. I was going to have an interview with Amy Archer, and she got ill. So she got ill. Why do I say it like that? I'm not fancy. She got sick, so she emailed me and said we should reschedule. Considering that I did that to her like last month when I was finishing my book, and I just did not have the brain width to stop and do the podcast. I don't hold a grudge. I usually don't hold a grudge anyway. Yep. Big old dog nose. I'm going to take a moment and catch up with chat. Crystal Bar says, I've been kind of homebrewing a combination of the Story Genius method by Lisa Cron and 2K to 10K by Rachel Aaron, and tried to train myself to write more and more efficiently. I have read 2 to 10K, but it was so long ago I don't remember anything from it. And Steve DeGroof is here. Hello, Steve. Good to see you. Brain weasels are lying little weasels. And easy is so relative, says kids are asleep. Okay, yes, you are very pushy. Dog needs scritches. Crystal Briar says, I'm detail-oriented, efficient, and while I have no experience managing an author outside of myself, I'm a fast learner and very adaptable. Yes, this is the job pitch. I may be in touch. It's not a good year for me financially because there are no new contracts and there's not a book coming out. So, but yeah, we should talk offline if you want. Ian says, I support a lot of creators on Patreon. Some are definitely more active than others and have more Patreon-only content. Veronica, hello? Depression lies, your emotion lies. Definitely. Yes, definitely. And your thoughts, too. Thoughts are random and nonsensical things left to their own devices. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to try to make my schedule and see if I can. To be clear, the job pitch was a joke, but if asked, I would serve. Well, I like the detail-oriented part. That's amazing to me. One thing I've been trying to make into a priority, and my God, again, talking about how long I've been doing this, working from home and trying to make a writing career, and I still don't know how to get a routine going. No idea. I had a friend who we had not talked for a long time, and then we recently got back together and we're catching up, and she says, so how do you structure your days at home? I'm like, I flail about, I do some laundry, I feel bad about not writing. What are you looking for here? And she was saying this, like, when she was home with she was on maternity leave with her last child, felt like so adrift and unfocused and worried that something was wrong with her because she had what people who work from home or writers trying to make use of their free time. She had that. So I also wanted to talk about what I want to do an update to the convention advice because I've been thinking about what has changed in convention since I started giving the convention advice years ago. I try to do this about once a year because there's always somebody who's listening who probably has not been to a convention or has gone and not had fun. So I'm going to start with the serious stuff because I'd never talked about this before. it was a lot. It was very challenging in the mid-teens, but I believe by now almost every convention has a code of conduct, and it would be good to review that. I'm not saying you all are in danger of breaking it. I'm saying if you experience something or if you see something, you'll know what to do, which is usually go talk to security or the Concom. But it's easier to handle something like that if you know that there's structure behind dealing with it. So review the codes of conduct. And that's, for any, I guess, major event you go to. I was thinking about this topic when I was making lunch, and I had something and I didn't write it down because I'm smart that way. The old advice of authors and editors and agents are there to meet fans, and authors and agents or agents and editors are there to talk to new to talk to new writers. That's still scary, but if you know, if you look at the group who's going to be there and you see someone you want to meet, you write them down, look at your schedule, look at their schedule rather, and try to find a time to meet them. First, you can enjoy their programming. Another thing, ads in 1 minute, by the way. Another thing to think about is, I am not changing gears very well today. Sorry, the ad notice just came up, and I'm like, oh, better tell people that, and then the other thought just went away. Right. One other thing to think about is people like talking about themselves. So when you meet an editor or an agent or an author, appreciate their work as well as you can, but also talk about what they're doing now or what they think about whatever's going on in genre right now. I had a long conversation with an agent about Romantasy a couple of years ago, just because I asked him what he thought. In theory, now we have an ad break. So I'm going to pause for a moment, for a minute and a half. I may just hang out here. I may try to come up with different ideas to actually get my thoughts in order. I could turn the music back on. And music back on. Okay, it looks like they started for Ian and ended for Valerie? That doesn't seem... Okay, that is weird. For me it says they've got 1 second left. And apparently the whole... And Lee hasn't had any ads. Wow, okay. Okay, Twitch. By the way, if any of you are Twitch streamers and maybe... I've heard differing comments on this, but you should go to Twitch privacy and security and turn off the Amazon gets to train generative AI on our chats here. So turn that off because it's opt-in automatically. Weird. Anyway, I wrote some stuff down. So you know who you want to approach, you know what you want to ask, because it's good to ask questions. And if anybody tells you ask you what you're working on, have a pitch at the ready. Even if it's not, don't look at it as this is the only idea, this is the only time you'll have a chance to talk to this editor and your book's not done yet. Just say, my current project is about a character who has a problem in this setting. And they'll either nod politely or they'll show interest. They might ask how close to the end you are. So always have something in, if you want to be a writer. I don't know, some people just kind of listen to hang out. But if you do want to be a writer, have a pitch of something. Anything. Thank you, Sybil Rose. I tried to play the music over the break, and of course I forgot to turn it off. That's why the people in the feed just got a little bit of music. But thanks to Sybil Rose in chat for saying I should turn that off. Well, Sybil Rose didn't say to turn it off. Said it was still running. Know what you're going to say when you meet an agent or an editor. Let's talk about BarCon. BarCon is vitally important. BarCon is it's the bar at night where everybody hangs out. So there will be, if it's a good con with a good hotel, there'll be a lot of people at the bar. I've been to cons where I didn't know where everybody was. They certainly weren't hanging out at the bar. And I was having that, is everybody having fun without me moment. I'm not fond of room parties because they are loud. Can't really be sure what's in the booze. And it always feels very tight. And especially these days, I don't want to go to a party where 30 people are breathing the air of a 10 by 10 room. But if you know someone who's having a room party or they invite you to one, show up, say hi. They'll usually have a theme or promoting something. Check that out. Be polite. But at BarCon, rule number 1 is you do not have to drink. And I always worry about people hearing the words BarCon and thinking immediately, that's not for me. It is a place where people hang out in the evening. Not everybody drinks. I promise you, John Scalzi doesn't drink. And I know several other people who just don't drink or never have drunk. There are several Mormon science fiction writers. They don't drink. And I've seen them at the bars. It is a place to gather and talk to people. And you don't need to drink. So just order a drink and then approach people. Say hi. If you are socially anxious, like so many of us are, go in with your questions. It's like you want to meet this person. You want to ask them a couple of questions about themselves. If you don't feel like you're getting into a conversation, you thank them for their time and you wander away. You got it all planned out, so it should be a lot easier. Space Valkyries is here. Hello. ReaderCon was nice this year, where the hotel bar was right by the elevators coming down from the hotel rooms. Could come and go and take a break from the BarCon really easily. That's cool. I did ReaderCon last year, and the bar was wretched. The woman, like the hostess, was, I believe she clearly thought her role was to keep people out of the bar, because she did not want us there. It was very sad. Did not have a good BarCon experience at ReaderCon because of that lady. Yikes. Another rule: be kind. And again, it makes me feel sad that I have to say this, but a number of people I've interviewed over the years have said one thing they want to tell new writers is just be kind, be nice to people. You may feel like the biggest beginner in the world, but there's going to be somebody else who either has not achieved what you've achieved or doesn't know the people you know and would appreciate a help or an introduction or a kind word. Another thought is find your people. Finding people who are at the same level of you career-wise is very good because you can still, you can lean on each other when things are bad and you can support each other when things are good. I really felt that in Viable Paradise when I went so many years ago. One of my friends and I still exchange holiday cards. Another one wrote Library at Mount Char. Another one took over Viable Paradise, and I think they're in charge of it. And one of them was John Chu, who, won the Hugo a couple of years ago for Best Story. No, go back over there. But having those folks, around me as I'm trying to create, and also podcasting. My friends I made early years of podcasting, some of them we still support each other. Grant Bachoco and I are close. He did the Radio Adventures of Dr. Floyd. He does Toilet Tea Paper puppeteering on social media right now. And he's the new puppet spokesman on Liberty Mutual. So I'm very proud of him. But we've talked to each other even as our careers of him as a musician and puppeteer and me as writer. We met in podcasting, and so we've kept up with each other and had helped each other through the years. Let's talk about what not to do. Don't be a jerk. I mean, I feel like half these things should be self-evident, but I've been saying them for a long time, and like I said, the audience may be new. Follow the code of conduct, of course, and know the difference between a pleasant discussion where there are differing opinions and just being a jerk to somebody. Don't interrupt the readings. Don't ask the author if they would like a critique after the reading. Yes, that's happened to me. I'm amazed by what some people do. I was actually talking to someone who was my mentor in my MFA program. And it was I guess it was the February, so my solo novelization had been out for almost a year. And I was complaining to him. It's like, I don't get any crap. I expected crap being a woman writing a Star Wars novelization, but luckily that didn't happen. However, a lot of people wanted to know why it had to be told. And I was complaining about this. I don't understand why people sometimes worry, why did this story need to be told? And he looked at me and he says, well, why did that story need to be told? I'm like, it's not any better coming from you. It's just implying that hours and hours that somebody put into something was wasted time. I can't. I don't know, y'all. He was my mentor, too. Why it had to be told? There was a movie, and it was a job. Those are my two big reasons. Did I do it just for the money? Yes! I'm a working writer. I did it for the money. Would I have written it had I not loved Star Wars? No. I'm getting off topic. respect personal space. Costuming, what is it? Costuming is not consent. Cosplaying is not consent. If you get a picture with somebody, you can stand close to them, but don't touch them. This part is difficult, and I acknowledge that it's difficult. I've had a problem with this in the past, especially anybody on the spectrum is going to maybe struggle with this, but that's okay. At BarCon, you might see the person you really want to talk to sitting with one or two other people very obviously away from everyone, very obviously like maybe leaning forward, having like an intimate conversation. That's not when to go up and say, hi, I'm a fan. I love to know what you're working on next, blah, blah, blah. That's not the time to do it. You have to read the room. My story was that I'd wanted to meet Charlaine Harris and have her on the show. But when I saw her at a con, she was talking to who I knew was the man I knew was her agent. And they were sitting alone at a 2-person table, leaning into each other, very intent on their conversation. And my little etiquette bot in the back of my head's like, not now. So that was good. So yeah, try to read the room. It's difficult, but, it's a good skill to have. Don't pitch anybody anything unless they ask for it. And don't bring your book with you, either in paper or on a thumb drive. Editors and agents do not want to have to keep track of anything on their way home. And paper's very heavy. You get a whole bunch of aspiring writers handing over novels in paper, they're not going to appreciate that. Don't follow them to the bathroom or try to get them alone in the hall. Remember, if you are a male type person and they are a female type person, be a little more respectful with your approaching and distancing. Again, code of conduct, think about that. And then there's the rule of 3, 2, 1, which now that I'm older, it seems ridiculous. But for all you whippersnappers out there, it's make sure you get at least 3 hours of sleep, 2 meals, and 1 shower per day. The 3 hours of sleep is the one that makes me go, okay, but I'd be dead next day. But for people who actually like late night stuff, and I remember those days, believe it or not, of wanting to hang out at all hours with friends and stuff. But make sure you get a little bit of sleep and food and a shower. And if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you're somebody who is still wearing a mask these days, you probably don't need permission from me, but I have been masked at conventions that are largely, wanting to put COVID or whatever infectious disease is out there in the rearview mirror, but I've never gotten crap for it. Maybe I'm just lucky, but if you feel more comfortable masking than not, then you wear your mask. I remember Worldcon 2021. It was a very weird one because it was in the height of COVID. It was in December instead of the summer. And everyone was masking. They had daily emails doing contact tracing. And what I discovered was almost everybody who got sick had either been to the restaurant and eaten among people, the hotel restaurant, or they went to the business meeting. So again, the mashing a whole bunch of people into a tiny room to breathe the same air is inadvisable. But as I was just talking about self-confidence and self-doubt, you are not the only person who feels like a fish out of water here. You're definitely not. And you can ask for help. If you make a friend, you can ask if they'll have a meal with you. You can ask, I saw you talking to John Scalzi. Would you mind introducing me if that comes up? We see him again. Or, you know, there's so many times I have felt overwhelmed and lost at a con and just wanted to go back to my room for hours and hours and hours. And I'm kind of not introverted as much as a lot of other people, so this literally was me running away instead of needing time to, recharge. This was me running away because I had lost all self-confidence. And all I want to say is try not to let that happen. I'm going to try not to let it happen. I'm in a kind of weird place right now because I'm done with my contract. I have no more books to write. I have nothing planned after my current book coming out. There's nothing. And that is making me very nervous. And I could, hide a lot, or I could talk to people and network. And I'm not saying my publishers let me go. If I come up with a new book, they get first look at it. But I got nothing, and it scares me. And it also makes me feel a lot of lost confidence. So it's going to be challenging. Hi. Doggy just came back. I'm sad I won't be able to go to LA Worldcon, but hoping for Montreal next year. Excellent. Yes, Montreal has the next convention, and Brisbane, 99% chance it'll be there in 2 years. If you don't know, let's talk about Worldcon itself. A lot of stuff happens at Worldcon that people don't know about. Worldcon is the World Science Fiction Convention. It's not the US-Canadian Science Fiction Convention, even though if you look at places it's been in the past 70-some years, that's usually where it is. However, some international people have been successful at pulling it away from the North American continent. Politics might have something to do with it. Who knows? But this is the first time there will be many. This will be the last Worldcon in the U.S. for a while. Next year is Montreal. We vote this year on who gets it in 2 years. And that's the way the Worldcons go. So if you're at Worldcon, you have the power to put in a vote about where it should be in 2 years. People put in official bids, and they do their, they have parties. They just let people know, we want the 2028, 29 Worldcon, and here's what we're offering. Here's what our city has. Here's the hotels we're going to use, and they want your vote. But sometimes people run out of money or have problems. I don't even know all the reasons why it doesn't happen, but often it says people drop out. And so whoever was going up against Brisbane has dropped out. So there's only one bid for 2028. So it's Australia time. I've not looked at the bids after that. I think 2029, I think Dublin's going for it, which, because COVID messed up my entire frame of reference of the world, I just real excuse me. COVID messed up my entire look at the world and time and everything. And so it feels like the Dublin Worldcon just happened. Well, that was 2019. So I think 10 years is a reasonable time to wait for the next one, which possibly will be 2029. Another thing you can do at Worldcon, which is, I'm starting to compare everything to two-factor authentication right now. My kid was complaining about how hard it was to get a vehicle registered because they need it for their new home state. And I said, well, this is probably the biggest thing that you own, the most expensive thing that you own. And, the government likes to put in a couple of stopgaps to make sure that everybody knows where the car is and who owns it. And, as somebody pointed out in my Discord, also, registration helps money put towards transportation for the state itself. But I said, just, it's irritating, but think it's protecting you. Think about it's two-factor authentication for the largest asset you have. It still sucks, though. And now that I've gone off on that tangent, I forgot what I was going to say was two-factor authentication in this instance. Y'all, I don't know. It's the business meeting. That's what it was. The freaking business meeting. Your ticket to Worldcon includes membership into the World Science Fiction Society. They're the ones who deal with Worldcon as a whole and the Hugos specifically. If you want something changed in the Hugos, and there have been a lot of changes in the last 11 years, you go to the business meeting. But they use a thing called Robert's Rules of Order, which I had never heard of until I went to the business meeting. And you have to understand how the meeting works. You have a say, you have a vote. Not everybody from Worldcon goes to this, which is one of the reasons why they just put it in a large room and not like the ballroom. But that's where they argue about whether they're going to have a new YA Hugo or a separate special award, like the Lodestar, what it became. And the Game Hugo and the Poetry Hugo and the entire change to nomination and voting that happened in 2016, 2017. It's dry. It's really irritating. But if you feel, you can look at what the business meeting wants to do, and you can see if there's something you want input on something. Somebody told me that it's virtual this year. I don't know if it's 100% virtual or what, but look into that, because that will be, you're not breathing anybody else's air. And, you'll be able to look over at your spouse and say something rude about the weird thing that was just said, or go to the bathroom when you want. But still, I think a lot of people don't know that in addition to voting for the Hugos, and I hope you did, if you are a member, those are other parts that your membership gives you, not just going to the con. Meeting over what did I miss? I talked about self-doubt and how it's so prevalent I didn't even recognize it. I talked about going over the usual convention rules, since it's that time again. And I'm talking about what Worldcon specifically gets you. What membership when you buy your ticket to Worldcon, your membership. And you can also nominate for the Hugos next year, even if you don't plan on going to Montreal. So, that is what it gets you. And I'm happy to answer questions. If anybody has any specific questions about cons, Space Valkyries, if you're still around and you want to tell us how ReaderCon was, that'd be cool. Excuse me. But I'm looking forward to it. I think one of the biggest disappointments of Worldcon is it's so big and so many people are going in so many different directions that you won't be able to see everybody you want to see. And that's kind of sad. Yeah, it's really hard to manage everybody's schedules. Space Valkyrie says, ReaderCon was nice. They have a solid masking requirement. That's good. It's much smaller than Worldcon, which was nice and made it easier to say hi to people. Yes. And everybody just got a little taste of the Zoomies. I don't know how much the mic caught, so if you're hearing various squeaks on the podcast, sorry. The new dog is enjoying her new toy. I should mention my panels. What would I do without you, Valerie, really? Okay. My panels, I put it on my newsletter, which is on Patreon right now. But offhand, they are... I got a table talk and a reading and an autograph session. I have a virtual event that is talking about indie and solo RPGs and what's new. I hope y'all in the video are watching this, because I would not have thought you got a look at the Zoomies, but you did. That's... She's getting more and more wound up. I do not know what is triggering this, but she is running around downstairs like someone's egging her on, and I promise there's not. Yeah, she's not slowing down. Wow. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's just like running around and snuffling and snarling. It's very cute. Okay. But my panels, right? Reading, table talk, autographing. I'm talking about solo and indie RPGs on a virtual panel. I'm doing an Escape Pod live. And I will be on the Escape Artist 20th anniversary panel. And I'm going to be on a... okay. The Zoomies seem to have stopped. Bye, Lee. Good to see you. Happy birthday to your niece. And yay, cake. Oh, I didn't get warned about this ad break. And then I have a, basically a telling stories on podcasts panel, although it's got a cleverer name than that I'm going to be on with one of my heroes, so I got to play it cool, y'all. Yeah, it might be scary. We'll see. But, yeah, that's me. And I'll be at the Hugos representing Escape Pod. Yes, you were very loud. I'm so proud of you. I wish you could be on camera right now. That's the happiest dog face in the world. This is going to be a lot of fun to edit. I'm just saying. Anyway, I will still be here next week. I don't know what I'll be talking about. And like I said, it is my intention to record something and have it ready to go while I'm out of town, because I'm trying to run after this self-doubt monkey with a hammer. Because, I think about doing an extra podcast while I'm out of town. I don't know. I never do that. No one cares. I don't think anybody cares whether I upload anything. No one cares about my content. Might as well just not do it. That often goes through my head at the speed of, very fast. And it's ad time, so we'll stop for a moment. No ads for me yet. It's like Twitch trolls us. Yeah, because it's telling me that there were ads, and now it doesn't say there are ads anymore. Yeah, Ads have been funky lately. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to talk about today. I usually put it into an hour. I need to remember to run the ads at the very beginning so it doesn't interrupt me, but we'll see. I'm just leaving it in because I am not a professional podcast studio. I'm a person in a house with a dog, and no one else is here to tell the dog what to do. So, we get the dog. But if you would like to email me for advice or feedback or a question for the next show, mightymur@gmail.com is my email address. I'm still doing the giveaway. I'm going to draw names for the books that I have available on the 15th. And so if you want to win free books, just email me and say giveaway. And yeah, if you want to support my Patreon, that's where my archives are. 20 plus years of archives. I've probably crossed the 1,000 episode mark. Probably. I think. Yep. And if you get to see like 4 generations of dogs or hear 4 generations of dogs over the years in the archives, by the way. And, yeah, what else? My brain is just slowly cutting off. Wow. Anyway, I'll be at Worldcon. Find me if you are going to be there too. And, yeah, blog and show notes will be at murverse.com if you want to get ad-free early episodes and maybe some extra fun stuff. I don't know. Boy, I sell that well, don't I? If you would like ad-free early episodes of the podcast and maybe a couple of other extras, check out patreon.com/mightymur. It's how I'm able to do this, and it's sustains a lot of what I do here, especially in years where I don't have a book coming out. So appreciate any support you can give. And if you can't give monetarily, then leave a review. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, behind the scenes are only on Patreon. Yes. And I guess that's it for me. My brain is just like haywire right now. So I'm going to stop making you guys see more of it. And you should be writing. My segue to you should be writing is not always the smoothest, but when I remember to say it, I'm proud of myself. Hello. Yes, I had a snack beforehand. I'm actually not hungry. It's not food. It's probably dehydration. You can hear it in my voice. I know. The most important thing in the world is in my lap right now. I know. Yeah, she probably wants to go out. Silly dog. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me while I'm flailing about trying to talk about writing and be all open and vulnerable and crap, because I'm feeling that right now. That open and vulnerable crap. Let's see if I can get more promotion done now that I've identified the terrible thing bothering me. Let's see if I can actually overcome it. We'll see. Cypher is on playing The Division 2. Not exactly what the kind of thing we do here, but I like Cypher. And, well, I used to work at Red Storm Entertainment, but they're gone now. God. Is it too early to start drinking? Okay. We're going to raid Cypher. And, I didn't mention this yet, but Ursula and I were all set to record Ditch Diggers on Monday, but her microphone stopped working. And so we tried for a while to make that work, and it never did. So there was no Ditch Diggers last week. I'm sorry. We're going to try again this week. And then we're going to try again the following week. We'll be at Worldcon recording live. So that's fun. I may get the kid to stream it on my phone. I don't see why not. Audio might not be great. That's the only thing. Anyway, I might make it work if I can stream it. We'll see. But we're gonna raid Cypher. Where's this happening? Is it beer 30? It's getting close, Ian. It really is. All right. The raid is set up. I'm on Instagram sometimes. I'm on Blue Sky sometimes. I try not. It's not even depression that keeps me away from social media. It is I really want to look at social media when I look at social media, and I will get trapped there. So, but I'm trying to be more out there and promoting stuff. So, I'll see you guys around, and hopefully, next week at the very least, 3 o'clock Twitch, in Eastern time.